Welcome back to BSA Talks. We're here with Kim Halverson again. We're going to be talking about how you get into trading of coins while you actually still have a 9-to-5 job that you have to do. So, how do you do that?
Okay, so I have a lot of friends out there and everyone's different. And they, depending on their age group and how much money they have, and do they love their job, and they just want to stash it away rather than putting in a savings account, making 4% on your savings account, which is not good. So they think they could do a better performance, and it becomes a hobby for them. And if you're working at your 9-to-5 job out there, you may have maybe $500-600 a week you want to go in there and invest into your coins. So you start researching it and you just flip up your computer and you might be at a Starbucks or whatever, and then you got your little portfolio, and then it's so much fun when you first start to go in there and you're like looking at your Coinbase account because it tells you total active that day. How much did you make today? Yeah. How much did, what is the top performers in your portfolio? And it becomes fun. Crypto is fun. That's why everyone loves it when they're in that next generation of coming in. Now, I'm going to be specializing majority of my talk, and when I get out into the branding, is crypto for seniors. Because crypto for seniors, they want to know what their grandson is investing in. Yes. They want to know, be able to chit chat with them. Hey, I just bought some Solana. And he's like, you bought Solana? You know, that's cool. So anyway, but they have a different mindset. So you want to teach them the basics on what the blockchain is. And so they can start researching a bit there too. And I usually put, and I'm not a financial advisor, but I usually put them in stable coins, because when they're getting closer to retirement age, they want to have a stable coin and they're not going to go for the risky stuff. So it's just like standard investing that you do in there. The older you are, the more wealth preservation you want to be in. So if you're going to put some money in there, depending on your risk tolerance, then that is what you go with. So if you're going to go up a little bit higher, then you might go with some of the other coins down in the top 20s to 40s.
So does more risk equal more time invested into the market, or am I able to get into those riskier coins without investing as much time?
I want to share with you something that I've been working on for a long time that is very important to me, and that is a Discord channel for business. On it, there will be a lot of free information, but also access to me. So you can have the ability to ask me questions, and I can respond to your particular problems and difficulties, and also help you get started. I'm really looking forward to being able to interact with you individually on there. I look forward to seeing everybody on there, and I will be waiting for you. Now, let's get back to our video.
Yeah, so you can get into some of those riskier coins, but because it just takes, I'm going to buy some now. But don't buy because somebody told you it was going to go up to the moon, like the Trump coin. Don't do that. And don't do a meme coin. Meme coins actually have no purpose in life. Would you invest in a company that actually built nothing, did nothing, and they just sat there on the sidewalk and say, hey, invest in me? But the thing is that what proves you wrong is the Dogecoin, which does absolutely nothing, but it's now a major currency out there. And so the thing is that for you, we have two different sets here. I'm just using, not to say that you look a little, you're older than Anthony here.
A little bit.
But with Anthony, you are a risk taker and you're a gambler. Okay, I know you, I know it. So I would put a different portfolio together, and then you have to find somebody that you trust that you can discuss things with. And you're not going to go wrong with your get your basic stable coins, and then go down into the top 100 and then research those coins in there. But I know that you move too fast to research. You do. You'd rather go in.
I'd rather just someone tell me like, hey, buy this coin because I did all the market analysis and this, and this, and I'll just buy it.
I will give you my diversified portfolio. You can check them off when you buy them, and then you're taking advantage of my research for the last year. And I'll tell you which ones are the best ones on sale. Yeah. But I just do that because I like you and you're really buff. Okay.
That's how we met. by the
I
way,
know,
for
but
lifting.
you can bounce a quarter off his chest. And so in the case with Mr. Dave here, he doesn't really, I take it that you're already settled and very wealthy just where you're at. So for this is to get off of your game, which is basically stocks, it's not going to be fun for you, but it's going to go into an area where, yeah, I'd like to dabble in it. So I'm going to put you in the stable coins.
I have
That's
made a
it.
fair amount of money off of Bitcoin over the years.
Okay, yeah, you
So,
did, but
yeah.
you bought it in there. You made a whole bunch, but you probably just bought one coin. So now it's time to diversify.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I've never bought any other coin than Bitcoin over the years. So,
But it's done well for you.
yeah, that's.
And my cousin, he goes, oh, I made a fortune off of Bitcoin. Well, so did he off of Tesla.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay, or NVIDIA, or anything. So you did your research, you took that risk early. I was at the grocery store, I said, oh, I really like your Cybertruck. He goes, thank you, Elon. I was my investor. I just straight cash on the Tesla stock. I think he sold it when it was back at 800. So yeah, so the thing is that everybody's different on their risk tolerance. And can you work and research? That's the beauty of the internet and a computer. And then once you get with Coinbase, you can just go buy. But you don't have to get into sophisticated. It took me a long time to go out there and learn how to put a trade in, futures trade, and put in a trigger trade versus a limit. Then I had to go out with my AI bot. Could you tell me the difference on this?
Yeah. So from my understanding, there's different levels to crypto, right? So it's like anyone can just dabble with it. You don't need a lot of time investing.
Anyone can dabble, but don't gamble.
Okay.
Yeah, the more you just dabble, the more you're gambling.
Yes.
Yeah, and make sure that you're buying in a coin that is off of its all-time high.
So how can someone at home find that out? Like, how do I know which coin is at an all-time high?
Well, you go to Coinbase,
Coinbase, yeah.
and then you go down to info. Okay, it gives you a snapshot on the front. You go to info, hit more, and then it goes down to its ranking, community ranking, and then it goes last year, the 12-month high, and all-time high, and then where it's trading at now, all-time low. So right now on the one I was looking at, I'm looking at TAO, T-A-O right now, and it was high as 700 a coin. Okay, and now it went down, and it depends on the circulation of what they're doing with their team there, but it's down at 2 something, and that is great. So I'm going to start investing, so I get 2 to 3, 4 coins for what price it was last December. Wow. So that's that's research where you want to look. So if you buy it right, just like you bought your XRP. You can go up and go down 20%. And you're still ahead of the game.
When XRP was at $3, I was happy, and when it's at $250, I'm still happy.
But you didn't sell. But it's at $250 right now.
Yeah.
This is another place where diversification pays off, because the risk of any one coin is dramatically reduced if you have a whole bunch of them. Sure, the whole market can move up or can move down, obviously the case. But the fluctuations that are coin dependent are taken out by the diversification.
Yes.
And even if you are putting your toe in the water, diversification's a good idea.
Yes, absolutely 100% diversification. My portfolio diversification is 20% stable coins. The rest is 60% in the middle, which will be alts and utility coins. And then I leave 20% for gambling on memes. That's it. And so your altcoins is where you should be spending most of. They'll say, oh, it's alt season. That's when Bitcoins are going down. So then the real bargains are in the middle of the pack that on security. What's going to make the internet much better? And then you're going to go AI. And then you're going to go gaming. It's that. And so
I was actually trading gaming crypto like 3 years ago when we had the last bull
Did you do render?
I did render. I did sandbox. I made good money off render.
Render was one of my third coins.
Yeah.
Because I went in there. So I did render, and it was really good buy back then. So I said, okay. And I wasn't looking at prices. I just went based on what they were doing. And I said, okay, what's the top coin in that sector? Yeah. So it goes back to my VC path. I would go in there and say, give me the top 3. on when I'm looking at companies to invest in this sector. And then let me look at the management. Let me look at how much market share they have and what their burn rate is.
Yeah.
That's all I would look at. And then one would go in, and then I have to make a bet on 1 to 3. And the one with the best management and the best community and the best marketing. I always look at the best marketing. Yeah. But anyway, so you just have to go in there. So there was 3 gaming coins that were obviously going to be good, but I was going to put my money in the top one, which was Render.
Yeah, and the problem is I made good money off crypto in the last 3 to 4 years, but I lost about 80% of my portfolio because I got scammed. And that's a scary thing for people at home when crypto's new, they don't understand much. I didn't understand much.
We'll be doing a podcast on on avoiding scammers.
Yeah.
How to avoid scamming is probably the number one thing anybody new to crypto, because you are the person they are going to target.
Yeah. So,
right.
Yeah.
And you're so desperate for help or guidance.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for watching this. The next one will be exactly what happened to me, and I'm going to tell you guys my story. And
I'll tell you my story. I'm embarrassed, but you know what? It made me a better trader.
Thank you all for joining us, and we'll be back with how to avoid scammers.